I think more important than anything, we need people-to-people contact. It is true that before all the world, not just European countries, used to have relationships with the regimes in place. They had to have. It was either that or else ignore these countries altogether. You know, until the Arab Spring happened, we didn't really know the people. And now in Europe, we are overwhelmed and we greatly admire the Arab people who managed to do this. And I think this is creating, even amongst us, a desire to get to know the people. This is fundamentally where we need to start. As to the future, what Europe should do is to make sure that democracy pays. And therefore, whether they are initiatives relating to student programs, for instance, or youth programs, or other things which are deeper, such as trade, Europe must go further with those countries where democracy has gone furthest. This is a very complicated issue, and I think it would be presumptuous for anyone to say, I have the solution for the Middle East peace process. I am certainly not one to say that. I think that the Arab Spring will have a very positive influence on the Middle East peace process, because it's much better, even for Israel, to live in a region where democracy has really taken over completely. But we still need to overcome a lot of hurdles on both sides, resistance from both sides. We still need to be courageous in acknowledging the truth. So if Israel continues, for instance, with illegal settlements, we need to state so and not be afraid to say so. Europe has a lot of experience in institution building, that is to say, building transparent and accountable, solid institutions that operate in a democratic environment. So with this experience, there's a great deal we can do to help Arab Spring countries that are in many ways starting all this process from the beginning. This is not to say that there is no corruption in Europe. I think as long as there's a human being, there can be corruption. But the fact that you have democratic institutions that are more accountable, more transparent, then you are fighting corruption. I think that we need to extend our trade agreements on all levels with the Arab Spring countries. Again, keeping in mind that we should go further with those countries that have progressed furthest in their democratic reforms. And when we say opening up trade completely, I do not just mean trade in goods, I do not just mean trade in agricultural products, I also mean services, and increasingly I also mean allowing people to move between the two areas. And freedom of movement must be included if we have to have a meaningful relationship with the Arab Spring countries. For instance, visa facilitation is a step that we can start with, and why not? At some point in future, one might even envisage a complete removal of visas, that is to say, visa liberalization. Europe is also embarking on a number of initiatives whereby people from third countries, including Arab Spring countries, would be able to apply to work in the European Union. All these are initiatives that can be put on the table to discuss with the Arab Spring countries. Ultimately, here we have an important opportunity. Now we either seize it or we lose it. I hope that we will seize it. There's a great deal to be done, but there's also a great deal that has already happened, and we need to build on this. Within the European Union, we have very important programs that help young people move from one country to another for cultural exchanges, but also for training, for education, and the like. I think these programs should be extended to those countries among the region which have progressed on their democratic reforms, and this is something that is concrete. I think we can also do more. For instance, sharing our experience as political parties with the many political parties that are springing in the Arab Spring countries, involving people who want to engage in the political world, including also journalists who want to express themselves in a new democratic environment. I think all these are initiatives that we can do and that we can and should do as of now. My message would be, keep up your energy, keep up your enthusiasm. It is something that we do not see so much now in Europe because we tend to take democracy for granted. This is not to say it will be easy. The difficult part comes now. But if you keep up the energy, if you keep up the enthusiasm, I think you will be contributing in an incredible way for the positive development of your country.